Welcome to our podcast, The Words That Make Us.
Consider this time with us as your excuse to take a break from everything.
Every episode, we choose a word that makes us think, wonder, or dream. We read a range of texts that explore different aspects of this word.
And we let our thoughts wander. We hope that yours will too. So grab your favourite tea.
Or a beer.
And join me, Rama
And me, Tony Bailey. Let's go!
So this episode is about dreams. Tony, wakey, wakey.
Oh, that's good.
So, what are you laughing at? Let's laugh with you.
Somebody just told me a joke about an old couple. Mm-hmm. An old couple were having their breakfast, and the woman says, "Oh, I had the most wonderful dream. I was 20 years old again, and I was cycling through a beautiful forest with my sister. Lovely." Mm-hmm. And the husband replies, "Yeah, I had a wonderful dream last night too. I was 20 years old again, and I was making love to a beautiful woman." Oh. The woman winks at him and says,
"Was it me?
Were you making love to me?" And he says back, "Of course not. You were out cycling with your sister." Yes.
Those dreams. I've had those dreams where I woke up really angry with someone.
Oh, yes, I have.
Have you had that? Yeah.
I have, definitely. Why does that happen?
I don't know. It feels so real. It really feels so vivid. You feel like this must be reality. And then you wake up and you can't shake off that feeling because it's a real feeling. It's not something you made up or something.
Yeah.
You're genuinely mad at this person.
I felt inside the dream, I felt the anger too, not just when I woke up.
That's why. Yeah, you transfer that anger to your real life and you can't shake it off.
I've had a series of those quite recently, actually.
Yeah?
You've kind of prompted me there. I'd forgotten, but with certain members of my family, so my father and my brother, sorry if you're listening, either of you, but definitely in my dreams, I have had raging, blazing rows with them about stuff that, I can't remember because it was in a dream.
Interesting.
And then when I've woken up, like you, I felt the rage still inside me, and I've had to sort of tell them,
work through it.
It was just a dream.
But there must be their fault. They didn't do anything wrong.
There must be something in the dream that is based on some sort of reality or something that hasn't resolved itself yet that maybe I need to think about.
It's really interesting because, like with dreams, so I keep not a dream journal, but I make sure that as soon as I wake up that I look up my dream or I will forget it. And I am a firm believer in looking up dreams. Yeah. But the problem is when you look up dreams, you're guaranteed to find many interpretations.
I think
and they could be opposing.
It's like reading tea leaves, isn't it? It's like it depends on who reads it.
Yeah, and, who reads it. And so I think what I have decided now, I look it up. I always look it up. But I have decided that if I woke up in a good mood and feeling light and happy, then it must be a good omen, must be a good dream. And if I woke up really angry or anxious, then something must have happened.
Can I pull you up on something you just said there? Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. You didn't say, if I have a good dream, then that's good news, or it must have been based on something positive. You said it's a good omen. Interesting choice of words. So, do you think your dreams in some way are foreseeing? Do you see dreams as part of a sort of
a prophecy?
Yeah.
This is very like
visioning the future.
A good question, because I feel like it's quite arrogant to think that we can have prophetic dreams and things will happen in real life.
Pathetic dreams.
Pathetic dreams. Yeah. No, I like to think every now and then that look, I dreamt something and it came true, but then I really hope they don't, because the good things will come true and the bad things will come true. Yeah. And then that means a lot of people will die and suffer if my dreams come true. So I don't know. I feel like maybe my positive spin on it is that I hope this means it's a good omen. At least it gives me a good start to the day. How about that? You wake up on the right foot, and then you.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so much science that has attempted to help us understand dreams. But in my research, none of it is very satisfactory. And the reason is because you can't really do a scientific study because it's based on an individual. And by the time you wake somebody to find out what it was they were dreaming about or, the circumstances, they've forgotten, or a lot of it has been
Exactly,
forgotten.
a lot of it has been,
There are lots of studies that have sort of mapped your brain's activity, but I think that's fairly solid science around dreaming during REM sleep. Is
Rapid eye movement.
Yeah, that's when you it's the most satisfactory sleep.
Yeah, it's the deepest,
but it's also when you do most of your dreaming activity, but it doesn't really explain what the dream means. And we have to go into sort of psychologists, Freud being the big one, his famous book, Interpretation of Dreams.
It's funny because, like, a friend of mine, we were pregnant at the same time with different children. I knew you were going to say the same child.
I was going to say. Rama's a Siamese twin.
And so I remember her saying to me, I woke up this morning with a really disturbing dream. I dreamt that I was giving birth to a spider.
Ooh.
And I went and looked it up for her because, like, I love these things.
Yeah.
And it actually meant, they did say that if a woman dreams of giving birth to a spider, it means that she's really anxious about the birth. And I told her that, and she was like,
well,
yeah,
that kind of
actually,
makes
that makes
sense,
sense.
doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So some things do make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things are just arbitrary. I mean, have you had a dream where somebody from your distant past, you don't remember their name, you don't know who they are? Sometimes you might even give them a different name in the dream.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell were you doing in my dream?
This is my reality, actually, Rama. It's not my dreams. People wander up to me who know me and I have no idea who they are.
We talked about that.
That's called getting old.
It's called getting senile, yeah.
I think there are a whole load of kind of standard dreams. Maybe we can go through some of them, but I have had that one.
Yeah, of giving birth to a spider.
No, I've never given birth to anybody in any dreams. Certainly not a spider. Actually, spiders have. I don't think they've been really in my dreams, but definitely faces from the past.
Yeah.
And at the end of the dream, have you had that state where you're actually aware of the fact that you're having a dream while you're in the dream?
Yeah.
So there's sort of consciousness inside the dream.
Yeah.
And in my dream, I'm thinking, who the hell is this? I know them, but I can't put... Whereas in the dream that I'm having, I know who...
You know who they are, exactly.
But I'm conscious of the fact that I don't when I'm having the dream.
But why does this
happen? And then
happen?
when I wake up, within 30 seconds, it's gone anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember, apart from...
I wonder if it means that this person thought of you at the same time. You're like, maybe they thought of me and I'm thinking of them, like how they say, you're what do they call it in French? Petit mort, like when you're like, this is the small death when you're sleeping.
Yeah,
So your soul is wandering the world and you are dead in your sleep.
We got there very quickly. Wow.
I mean, but that's what they call it. And maybe it means that the souls interacted at some point.
Yeah.
They thought of you, you thought of them, and then they went on their merry way and you did on yours.
I have nothing to add on that because that's yes, maybe. I mean, it sounds for me quite a fleet of fancy that might happen, but why not?
Why not?
Why not? In the dream world, all things are possible, I suppose.
Yeah.
What about, I suppose, synchronicity maybe?
Maybe that's a bit...
What it is?
Yeah,
What's the difference between synchronicity and serendipity? They're two words that I've always...
I think synchronicity means that things are happening at the same time, kind of in accordance, in harmony.
So maybe that person's having a dream about me at the
maybe,
same time.
or at least mentioned you in some,
Yeah.
in some conversation or something. I don't know.
Yeah, bizarre.
Maybe it just is very haphazard and it means absolutely nothing. But we, as human beings, we seek meaning, right? We want to assign meaning to everything. We can't accept the fact that things are just arbitrary.
Yeah.
And that our brain thinks in really strange ways.
That seems to be the conflict in both psychology and brain research about what the purpose and the meaning of dreams is. So if you look at Freud's work, you can interpret every dream and there will be some meaning in it based
Sexual
on...
meaning.
Sexual.
Yeah.
Actually, he kind of claimed at a later stage that it wasn't all about sex. But there is a lot of that
at the beginning,
in there.
yes.
But you can base every meaning on every dream based on the psychology of the person who's having the dreams.
Yeah.
Everything's explainable.
Yeah.
Whereas more neutral brain research just talks about the brain needing a function rather like emptying the garbage. So what's happening when you're having a dream is your brain's kind of reorganizing its storage and doing activities or exercises, and it comes out a bit like fast forwarding a video, or you're looking through lots and lots of things, so you get lots of different things mixed up together, which is why you get such screwy, amazing dreams which don't seem to make any sense, because they don't make any sense.
This is so funny, because while you were telling me this, I was like, did Tony tell me this before, or is this a déjà vu? I feel like I just had
déjà vu.
I swear, I felt like this, like, huh? He told me this before. Did I dream this? Did I see this before? This is crazy.
I don't think I've mentioned that before, but then I have no memory of what I've said. And in fact, is this a dream we're having? It could be. Maybe.
I mean, life is a dream.
Life is but a dream.
I think I wanted to do some research on déjà vus, and then I was like, this is not related to dreams.
No,
and now
you didn't realise you'd already done it. Yeah, I know.
And then this came up.
Nice quote from Buddhism about that. So once, how do you pronounce it? Shuangzi.
I guess.
Once Shuangzi dreamt he was a butterfly. A butterfly fluttering about, happy with himself and doing as he pleased as a butterfly. He didn't know that he was Zhangzhu. He thought he was a butterfly. Suddenly he woke up, and there he was, solid and unmistakably Shuangzi. But he didn't know if he was Shuangzi, who dreamt he was a butterfly, or if he was a butterfly dreaming that he was Shuangzi.
Yeah, there
you go.
Yeah.
So this could all just be.
That makes sense. I mean,
it
could be. This whole thing is an illusion.
Is wasted because it's just an illusion or a dream.
I know. This reminds me of something. While I was doing research, I found this website. They were talking about. It says here. I'm going to read it to you. Caliph Ma'mun had a dream wherein he was inside the Kaaba. You know what Kaaba is, like this little chamber in Mecca where people like walk around. And in the dream he urinated at two of the corners inside of it.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Yeah.
And later on he did the same outside of it at the other two corners. Yeah. He felt ashamed of his dream but still wanted to know the meaning. He told one of his servants to go to the famous Ibn Sirin. So the equivalent to Freud in Arabic is Ibn Sirin, but of course Ibn Sirin was like hundreds of years ago. Yeah. And he was very famous for interpreting dreams. And anyway, so he sent his servant to him to ask him what the dream meant. And Ibn Sirin sent him away, and he said, there's no way you could have dreamt that. This is somebody of a higher rank. And so he went and told the Caliph, and he said to him, I will only talk to the person who actually dreamt this dream. And so when Ma'mun came, he told him his dream. Ibn Sirin told him that the meaning of the dream was that he would get 4 sons, 2 of whom would succeed him as a caliph. And it was true. It happened.
I mean, that could be coincidence, but it could also...
It could be prophetic.
There is quite a heritage, isn't there, of the idea of people having visions, people having dreams that are then interpreted. It's all the way through the Bible. There are lots and lots of examples
the Quran
too, and the idea that they need to be then interpreted by somebody wise.
Yes.
You can't interpret them yourself. Somebody wise then interprets it and says, oh, this is what it means. Yeah. There's going to be 7 years of plague or pestilence or 7 years of good harvests or, whatever it is.
But I like that you made the distinction between vision and dream, because, dream is something that you do while you're sleeping, and vision is something that happens to you sometimes while you're awake.
Yes.
There's something
more...
I
mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because you wouldn't say, Tony, he's a man of... Well, they wouldn't say that I'm a man of vision either, but they might, They might. He's a man of vision. A man of vision. He's a visionary, as opposed to, he's a dreamer. He's a dreamer. He's always in dreams.
Actually, that's so true. A man of vision is such a great thing, and a dreamer is like what's wrong with him?
He's almost a negative, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So what did you find in the Bible? You mentioned the Bible.
Okay. Let's go to the Bible then. Lots of recurring visions. What I found out most there was that on the one hand, the Bible quotes lots of visions which were clear evidence of God's message or God's work or God's control. And on the other hand, lots of messages saying you must not interpret dreams because only God...
Oh, really?
So it's kind of like you can't have your cake and eat it. Yeah. So if somebody has a vision, he said, listen to my words. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. If I, a prophet or one who foretells by dreams, appears amongst you and announces to you a sign or wonder, and if the sign or wonder spoken of takes place, and the prophet says, let us follow other gods, gods you don't know, and let us worship them, you must not listen to the words of that prophet or dreamer. The Lord your God is testing you. So in other words, if it's a dream that doesn't come true, then the Lord was just testing you. But if it comes true, then it's clearly
a vision.
Vision. There are a whole series of dreams in the Bible. I'll give you a quick snippet. 21 dreams recorded in the Bible. 10 of them happened in the book of Genesis. Not as many in the New Testament as in the Old Testament. So 6 of the dreamers were kings. 2 of the dreamers were named Joseph.
Oh, different Josephs?
Yeah.
Oh.
Only one of them was a woman. All of them were asleep when the dream happened, so they weren't visions. So, for example, Abimelech warned, God stops Abimelech, the king of Gerar, from sleeping with Sarah, Abraham's wife, through a dream. Jacob's ladder, Jacob sees angels ascending and descending a ladder between heaven and earth. That's in Genesis. The Lord tells Jacob to return to the land of his father in a dream in Genesis. Let's go on to ones that you might also know. The Pharaoh's cows and the Pharaoh's stork. So 7 fat cows come up from the Nile to graze, but 7 thin cows devour the fat cows. A dream that the Pharaoh had. And he also had a dream where 7 plump ears of grain grow on a single stalk, but 7 thin ears swallow them. Wow. So both dreams signifying that Egypt will undergo 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. And there's lots of them. So clearly it was, maybe it was the equivalent of YouTube or the internet at the time. At night I get a vision in my dream, and then I tell people
and
about
then
it.
Let's talk about it, and have an evening around that.
Yeah, really, really most popular dream that certainly what I know about is the backstory for the birth of Jesus. So an angel tells Joseph not to divorce Mary. Her child is the Saviour, it's the Son of God. Sounds like a bit of an iffy story.
Interesting.
And to take her to Bethlehem. And then after the birth of Jesus, God warns the Magi not to return to Herod from Bethlehem. So they flee because Herod has all babies murdered.
Yeah.
So the dream foretells that. So they protect the baby Jesus.
What?
An angel tells Joseph to escape before Herod slaughters all male babies. So both Joseph gets warned and the 3 wise kings.
So this happened in the time of Moses and Jesus?
Yeah, so
that they were going to be murdered? Male?
No, so the Magi's warning and the Joseph warning were both subsequent. As soon as Jesus had been born,
Interesting.
they both had messages from God through dreams not to return to Herod.
Okay. Well, this reminds me of we have in the Quran we have almost exactly the same story about Yusuf. So in English Joseph, in Arabic it's Yusuf, and so Yusuf was in prison for something he did not commit, and he interprets the dream of somebody that was in prison, and then when this person was released, he was supposed to put in a good word for him, and then he forgets. But then the king has a really interesting dream, and he wants it interpreted.
Yeah.
So this guy says, actually, there's this guy in prison that I met. His name is Yusuf. I think he would be able to do it.
And this is the Joseph as in Joseph and the technical dreamcoat Joseph, not Joseph as in Jesus'
No. Just Joseph is the son of Jacob.
Yeah.
So not Jesus's uncle.
Jesus' stepfather.
This is interesting because in the Quran, Mary was never married.
Yeah.
She just she had this immaculate pregnancy, immaculate birth, and then she just,
Yes.
So it's interesting how the differences
Joseph
are.
was Mary's husband, but it's not clear whether they were married or whether they were together and hadn't yet married.
Okay.
But either way, God reveals in a dream that to Joseph that Jesus is not his son, but it's God's son.
Okay, interesting. This is really different from what the Quran says. But anyway, so in the story of Yusuf, they said, he told them about, so here. And once the king of Egypt said, verily I saw in a dream 7 fat cows, which 7 lean cows were eating, and 7 green ears of corn, and other 7 dry. O chiefs of my court, explain to me my dream, if you are able to interpret dreams. They said, a confused medley of dreams they are, and we do not know the interpretation of such confused dreams. And of the 2 prisoners, he who had been released remembered Yusuf after a time and said, I will inform you of its interpretation, so send me to Yusuf. Yusuf, O truthful one, expound to us regarding the dream of 7 fat cows, which 7 lean ones were devouring, and 7 green ears of corn, and other 7 dry, that I may go back to the people, that they may know. He said, you shall sow for 7 consecutive years, and that which you have harvested you will leave it in its ear, except a little whereof you eat. Yep. Then, after that 7 years of hardship will come that people will consume what you have beforehand laid up for them, except a little of what you will have preserved. Then there will come after that a year in which the people will have rain, and in it they will press wine and oil.
So in other words, it's kind of like a budgeting exercise, wasn't it? You have to make sure you save when you've got plenty in order that you can survive when you have.
Yeah, but it kind of like there was a prophecy in this that there was going to be a famine, and then
how do you think people would react? It's just so interesting that. So you get the impression that in that time in history, several thousand years ago now, if the pharaoh or a major leader, or even like a disciple or a follower of somebody, stands on a mountaintop and says, I've had a dream whereby this is going to happen, this is a message from God, and the crowd thronging around going, yeah, sounds good to me, yeah, sounds sensible. Then
not just that, if he says like we're going to have to be austere for 7 years, or not eat and save what we have, even though we seem to be doing okay, just because there's going to be a famine after, they're like,
so could you imagine a major political leader or a major figure now standing on saying, guys, I've just had a dream, so God's told me that this is going to happen. The environment is at severe risk, and we're going to all die because of the way we're treating the environment unless we do something about it.
No more cars.
And God has said we must cut down on our carbon footprint. Everybody's going to say, that sounds good. Yeah, God said that. It's amazing. It
is really amazing.
It's not taken seriously, is it, anymore, in terms of
dreams?
Dreams. So what's your most common type of dream then? Are you aware of?
Good that you mentioned that, because I did some research about recurring dreams, because I am aware of a lot of dreams that I have regularly. So I'm going to read them to you, and then we'll talk about which ones you and I have had.
Maybe what we think they might mean. I'm always intrigued when I have certain recurring dreams. Maybe they're on your list. I'll be so interested to see whether I'm on your list.
Let's see.
What?
So according to this Sleep Foundation, they say between 60 and 75% of American adults experience recurring dreams, with more women experiencing them than men, which is also interesting because I did some research about that. Why do you think more women dream than men?
Well, I think it's to do with stress and anxiety. I think that I have no basis for this, but I think certainly from my own personal experience, I know that I dream more vividly, and some of these recurring dreams come when I have some sort of stress or anxiety in my life. And maybe the fact that more women dream is a reflection of the fact that they go to sleep with more things to be stressful or anxious about.
More things on their mind, because they have to take care of everything. That might be it. And that might be it, because when I looked, actually there was no final theory on why. It was just proven that they dream more. And they said, one of the articles said that maybe there's a bit of something cultural about it, because
Yes,
maybe,
yeah.
Women are kind of maybe allowed to dream, because it's a more feminine thing. They wake up and they look up these dreams more than, but also they have more on their mind. So so culturally, I think women dream more than men.
Could be
and
that too,
and
yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, because women think about so many things at once, like you see them thinking about, and the baby, and the food, and did I leave this on the stove? And
I think men are possibly more chilled about more minor things.
Yeah, exactly.
And that might be why they don't,
Exactly. And also,
remember
before
that.
we go to the recurring dreams, I found something interesting about how it's different how men and women dream. So not only do women dream a little bit more, but also women dream more about the home environment.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
says
yeah.
in this article that men dream more about strangers, which is interesting.
Wow. Gosh, that's interesting.
And then
Yeah.
they said also that according to the University of West England, in Bristol, they discovered that women have more nightmares than men.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
because I think they also suffer more from anxiety.
Yeah, because that's interesting, isn't it? That because dreams could be positive and negative.
Yeah.
I would love to be a person who consistently through my life has really nice dreams. But I don't remember. Maybe it's because I don't remember them.
Yeah.
Maybe I do have nice dreams, but they just don't, because you wake up and your dreams disappear very quickly.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm having really nice dreams, but I just don't remember them. But I certainly do remember the bad ones.
Yes.
And they seem to far outweigh the good ones.
But can I say something? Because I feel so grateful when I wake up from a bad dream. Because I'm like, oh my God, that terrible thing was just a dream.
Yes.
And it's a huge relief. Like sometimes you feel like life is, and then you wake up and you're like, I am so happy today because what happened this morning was just a dream. And look at my life and it's so wonderful. So this has happened to me multiple times. But back to the recurring dreams. Between 60 and 75% of American adults experience recurring dreams, with more women experiencing them than men. Although recurring dreams are a normal part of sleep for most people, they can be distressing due to their content. So usually recurring dreams are mostly disturbing dreams or nightmares. 77% of recurring dreams are negative, and common themes include tooth loss and car crashes.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start one by one.
Yeah.
So the first one, I found 16 of them, so we'll go through them quickly. Falling. Have you had that? I think this happens when you first fall asleep and you feel like you're falling off the bed. You stir that, it shakes you
and
awake.
Find yourself on the floor. Yeah.
No, but you dream that you're falling. Have you really fallen off your bed?
No, I haven't, no. Falling or jumping.
Yeah?
I don't know whether they're the same thing. So I've had that experience in a dream where I've been much higher than I know I can jump. And I'm having to make the decision to do it. Okay. And I'm kind of interpreting that as I've got a major decision to make, so I've got to have the guts to take the leap. So I can see that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't had that falling. I have had me...
Have you been flying?
No. But instead of descending the stairs, I am kind of hovering over the stairs and just going down, both on foot and by car. It's really interesting.
Down the stairs?
Yeah. I've dreamt that I went downstairs by car and also just swam over them. It's really so funny.
Gosh, you're weird.
Flying. I haven't had flying.
I've had flying.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've definitely had flying. Flying is a really exhilarating dream because suddenly... because
wow.
You can... Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's a good dream, whereas the jumping or falling is not a good dream.
It's terrifying.
It's stressful because you're scared of hurting yourself. Yeah.
I have had car crashes. The third one is car crashes, which is interesting because I used to dream a lot of car crashes before I had a driver's license, before I drove. Yeah. But now that I drive, I almost never do, which is really reassuring.
Yeah, I very rarely do. But I did have one in the last week.
Yeah?
And I wasn't crashing the car, but I was finding it difficult to stop the car.
I see. Okay.
So every time I needed to brake the car, it wasn't braking.
Yeah.
I didn't crash, but I was...
You were only slowing down a little bit, but not really...
It wasn't going as it should be. And I was like, oh, God,
I've had that before.
Got to get the car seen to because I'm going to hit something.
So, yeah. I've had that before. How about snakes?
No, not
spiders?
A snake. No, because spiders and snakes are not stressful for me.
Exactly.
I don't hate them.
So for me, I don't have snakes or spiders. I really don't mind them at all.
No.
But my alternative is mice and rats.
Oh, and do they appear?
So much. Oh, so much. Like this is one of my recurring dreams. Is that every time, it's terrifying. I'm not going to talk about it, but that's a recurring dream.
Can I tell you a joke about dreams and rats.
Tell me.
So this guy went to a therapist and said, I keep having these terrible dreams about rats, lots of rats, and they're playing football. It's really doing my head in. And the doctor said, well, that's okay. I've got these tablets you can take before bedtime.
Yeah.
So I'll give you them now, so you can take them tonight, and that should clear the dreams.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but it's semi-final tonight. Anyway.
That's a very good one. I actually have a similar one about dreams. And it's not similar, but you reminded me of it. So my uncle was a very funny man. And he once told us this joke that until today, I cannot forget. And every time I tell people, they find it so unfunny, but I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
So
if there's a stunned silence at the end of it.
Yeah,
all
we'll
our
see.
readers
No, we have to have canned laughter after. You know?
Okay,
so people will.
Everybody will laugh.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. No, so this man, this young boy, pees his bed every night.
Yeah.
And so his parents take him to this sheikh, you know, like a charlatan, somebody who writes things and. And so they take him, and the guy says, you know, after a lot of asking and wondering and digging deeper and stuff, the boy tells him, actually, in my dream, I always dream like I have been chased by a really fierce dog.
Yeah.
And then there is somebody in the corner, probably the devil. He tells me to climb up a tree. And so I climb up the tree, but I'm not done with this dog because this dog is still like climbing up the tree and trying to hurt me, and I'm really scared. And so this devil says to me, pee on him. So I pee on him, and that's why the next day I wet the bed.
Makes sense.
And he was like, okay, so I'm going to tell you what to do. The next time when this happens, just say to him simply, no. He was like, okay, I'll do that. And so the boy went home, he went to bed, and the same thing happened. He was chased by the dog, he was really scared, climbs up the tree, the dog is really barking, he's terrified. The man in the corner sniggers and says, just pee on him. And he says, no. He says, okay, then poo on him. So you know what they found the next day?
Yeah, I think that.
Okay, anyway, that was a bit...
It was very good. It was very good. I do dream about needing to go to the toilet.
Yes, I think we all have that kind of dream.
And it's usually a signal that we need to go to the toilet. So the lesson I was always told was, if you're dreaming about needing to go to the toilet, wake up and go to the toilet. So it's
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. I'm not aware of having peed the bed recently, but that's
not
certainly...
recently, but I remember distinctly. I actually was in grade 6, I think, and it happened to me, and I was so ashamed. And since then, whenever I dream that
grade 6, what, teaching them?
No.
Oh, no, good.
No, while I was in grade 6.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, so the next one is looking for a toilet, like you said.
Oh, right, okay, good, yeah.
Being overwhelmed by house maintenance. I've never had that. Maybe because I don't care so much.
House maintenance? No, that's not
because
something
I'm guessing
stresses me.
I'm guessing this has to do with like maintaining your own self, like your own psyche.
I'm quite an orderly person. It's not something that I can think of now.
Not being able to speak? Oh, I've had that.
Not being able to speak? That sounds like a wonderful
You're
dream.
trying for other people.
Yeah. I had a dream that you couldn't speak. It was fantastic. Really good.
No, but I've had that where you're like, but you know, like nobody will hear me. I'm trying to scream and nobody can hear it. Oh my God, it's terrifying.
Gosh, that's weird.
It is terrifying.
No, I haven't had that.
Good.
No.
Losing teeth?
Yes. Not just losing teeth, but a number of teeth-related dreams. So you know, like that horrible when a filling comes out, or a tooth, you break.
See.
I've definitely had
around
breaking teeth by eating something, and it's been so realistic that when I've woken up in the morning, I have literally been checking. Oh, good, my front tooth's still there. Honestly, horrible.
Yes, it must be terrifying. I dreamt of losing hair, actually. I dreamt that I once lost all of my hair, and then I wake up and I really had to go check.
It's just a reality for me, Rama. It's not a dream. But again, I suppose, what does that mean? So I suppose you lose a tooth, it means you're powerless, or it's something that you don't have any control over again, sort of...
So from what I looked up...
Maybe you're worried about something disappearing or...
I think in Arabic it says if you lose a tooth, that means somebody is going to die. Which is quite realistic. Somebody's going to die around the world sometime.
Yeah, that's true.
Being attacked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
By animals or humans?
Both.
Okay, wow. Public nakedness?
My own or somebody else's?
Yes, your own.
No, I haven't had that dream. I've
I've
heard about
had that.
I've heard that about that as being, a common one, but I've never dreamt about
I've
being
had it.
naked.
I've had like me wondering, how is this okay? How are people not reacting? But maybe it just means that you're feeling exposed or feeling that, like
Well,
you're
you're
not
either
secure.
trying to hide something, or
Yeah.
you're worried about
Yeah.
revealing something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, interesting.
Being pregnant. Have you ever done that?
Never dreamt about being pregnant.
I've had that obviously a few times. Returning to school.
Returning to school, no.
I have
No.
had similar things. So
Not returning to school.
yeah.
Exams.
Exams, exactly. I've had that. When
Yeah.
I'm going to write a math exam, and then I go there and it's a geography exam. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I haven't prepared for this.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And then I panic, but then I do well anyway.
I thought it was just me who had this dream, and then I was so
It's a common one.
relieved to see that it was on the list.
But
it's one of my most recurring dreams is somebody tells me like 20 minutes before, oh, and you haven't forgotten you've got an exam in 20 minutes. It's always that setup where oh my God, I've got an exam.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had an exam and I haven't prepared for it. Terrible.
Shall I tell you my most recurring dream?
Yeah,
So it used
go
to
on
be
then.
rats. No, actually, when I was a child, it used to be cars.
Yeah.
And then it became rats for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And now and you'll find this very funny. I have this very regularly and very often.
Yeah.
I am supposed to be in class teaching,
Yeah.
but I can't find my classroom. And I am looking around the school, and the school is a maze, and I'm looking and looking, and I can't find it. And I'm panicking
Yeah.
because I am sure that there is going to be somebody from management there waiting for
Waiting
me.
for you.
And
Gosh.
a lot of the times I get there and nobody is there, but sometimes somebody is there, and this person just looks at me and taps at their watch.
Oh, dear.
And they're kind of like, "Pff, yeah, why should I even talk to you?"
But you triggered something there. It's amazing. I think the whole thing about dreams is so interesting, because if you said, just tell me about your dreams, half of it I just wouldn't remember,
Yeah.
but you just triggered
Yeah.
something in me where I'm thinking, yes,
Yeah.
I've definitely had that dream where I can't find where I need to get to.
God.
And it's terrible, isn't
It's
it?
nerve-wracking.
It's terrible.
And for me, there was this one time that was the scariest, is that I was driving to get there, but I couldn't find my car. And then I
Yeah.
got on the train, and then I ended up in Munich, and I was like, what am I going to Munich for? It's
gosh.
in Augsburg. And then I look at the time, and it's 4:00 already. I'm like, what's the point?
I'm
I
feeling
should just
stressed
go
and I
home.
wasn't even in the dream. Oh my God, that's terrible. But yeah, definitely dreams about exams, tests.
Yeah.
But also, that other one about not being able to find a room.
Yeah, exactly. Your class who are waiting for
Searching
you.
through a building, and that's terrible, isn't it?
Being unprepared for school or work, that's what we said. Being
definitely.
chased or trapped.
Chased or trapped? Not really. It's not one
Okay.
that I can think of
Me
a dream.
neither.
No.
Finding new rooms in the home of a familiar building, yes.
Yeah.
I've had that a
Yes.
lot, where I'm like, since when
Yes.
has this been here?
You just triggered it. I thought, I have had that. secret doorway.
It's really cool, though.
Something in the roof that I did. Oh God, you just triggered me.
Yeah,
I have a dream about a house that I own.
yeah.
I don't actually own this house,
Yeah.
but in my dreams,
Yeah.
I have a home, and it's a home that I bought a long time ago to convert into
Yeah, something
a nice
else.
home.
Yeah.
But it's in a mess. And in my dream, I go there, and I find more rooms in this house. How bizarre is that?
I've had
Thank
something
you.
very similar. Yeah.
Thank you for reviving that. But,
Yeah.
it's a bit scary. The house is scary because I've never lived there.
Okay.
And I go in there and I find there's another room.
Wow. For me, it was a
another
very
room.
happy dream that I was like, look at this. I thought I had a small house, and now look at this. It's a big, spacious house with nice secret passages and stuff. So it was a very happy dream for me.
Mine, I'm interpreting it as there is another life. There is another life for me
Okay.
that I haven't
Explored.
really explored. And it's there, waiting to be explored, and there are other rooms opening and whatever.
Shall I tell you what it is?
What is it?
It's this podcast.
This is it.
This is it.
It's opening doors everywhere.
Exactly. You
The
thought
only
you
problem
were...
is I can't find them. Because yes.
Yeah. So those are the recurring dreams that we have.
I've got some more that I think, a lot of recurring dreams about water. Do you have any dreams with water?
For me, definitely.
Lakes and sea and that kind of stuff.
And frozen lakes and all kinds of water, because water is a big thing in my life. I have to have it all the time.
What about the fear of drowning, or is that ever there in your dreams? Certainly water appears a lot. Maybe it's an image for something. Maybe it's a signify freedom or peace, or maybe it's just so large in scope.
Maybe engulfing.
Small. What about dreaming about relationships that you're in? Do you ever dream about you being unfaithful to your partner, or your partner being unfaithful to you?
Absolutely.
So infidelity.
Yes.
Come on. Listen to it. Who have you been unfaithful with? No, but I definitely find that dream really distressing. And in the context of my marriage failing, I have had recurring dreams about my ex being in a relationship with somebody else and being unfaithful, what I believe to be unfaithful to me.
Yeah.
And the guy's got a face. It's not real.
Yeah.
The person doesn't exist as such, but they exist in a recurring dream.
That's really funny. Maybe it's your way.
It's not really funny. It's really distressing.
I'm sorry. I think it's your brain's way of trying to make sense of something that you don't really understand.
Possibly, or trying to. Yeah, this is very therapeutic. I see it as like my brain rehearsing what the feeling will be like or could be like if the inevitable occurs that actually there is somebody else.
Interesting.
It's like I already know how this is going to feel, so it won't hurt so much.
Okay.
I wonder whether that's
could be. Yeah, totally could be. Your brain protecting you, preparing you. Yeah, absolutely.
You dream about food. Does food occur in your dreams?
I have actually looked it up a few times, that I was given a lot of really wonderful sweets, these tiny cakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and it meant that there's going to be a really lovely life awaiting me.
Gosh.
Hasn't happened yet, but
I just remember a number of dreams where I've really enjoyed the food.
Which is really good, because you wake up and like, how did that happen?
Oh, yeah, I have a horrible little pizza before bedtime, and then I go to bed and enjoy a real meal. Or that joy you get from really beautiful food.
Yes.
To experience that in your dreams, and you don't put on any calories.
That's the best part.
Yeah, I went to bed and dreamt that I was eating a massive marshmallow.
Oh.
And then when I woke up in the morning, my pillow was gone. Yeah.
As long as it wasn't s'mores and you didn't actually burn your pillow, it's all good.
It's true. Gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
We haven't read any poetry so far.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Yes,
have you got something?
You're right. I've got a number.
Before we move on to other kinds of dreams, have you got anything about real sleepy dreams?
Real sleepy dreams. So, the science of dreams, but to be honest, given the limitations of time, maybe we don't go into that, because what I found is the science of dream is still the case is still.
It's not conclusive
over.
in any way.
What we do know is that when we do rapid eye movement sleep, our brain is more active. So ECG and what is it? Electroencephalography, measuring brain activity. Is that REM sleep is important to ensure that our brain has a good flushing. It flushes our neural circuits.
Okay.
So not surprisingly, when that's happening, you would expect that's it. That's why there's all of this amazing rubbish in our heads. And I wonder whether we only remember the dreams where there is some sense in it, and maybe the other nights it's just random stuff.
I like that amazing rubbish. I really like that.
Deep sleep, when those the chemicals in your neural circuits are returned to their unused shape. So in other words, dream sleep is said to be tidying up our recent memories and feelings, consolidating, helping us to make order in our brain. So that sort of makes sense, I think.
Yes.
But there's no bulletproof scientific proof for this, because how do you prove it? And how do you prove what it means? In general, science says if you look at the molecular and neural aspects of what's happening during dream sleep, it's good for you. So if you dream a lot, then that's good.
Really?
Because it shows that your brain is having a good clear out.
Okay.
It's a bit like putting your washing machine into clean mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it means that when you get up in the morning, you've flushed out your brain, ready for the new
I like
day.
that. That's good to know.
But the psychological, spiritual aspects of dreaming, largely unknown. And, you know, if you look at Freud and his psychology, there's no proof.
Basis, yeah.
And there are many criticisms, as you know. You talked about a lot of the sexual interpretation through Freud's dreams. I don't think that all my dreams are based on
That would be quite sad.
sexual interpretation.
Yeah, if we were consumed by our sexual things.
I think you know, without giving too much away about my dreams, I think you know which ones have got some sort of sexual or animal connotation.
But you know, even the sexual ones, they don't mean that. Like you could be having sex with someone that is it's really inappropriate, like incest or something, and that's not what it means. It's talking about something else. It's talking about getting something in order or fixing a relationship or something like that.
Could well be, couldn't it? So yeah, we've talked about common dreams. What about dreams that predict the future?
Yeah, prophetic dreams.
So we talked about dreams in the context of, what do they mean? And there's some reflection on the past. But then there's two other sorts of dreams. There's daydreams, which are right in the present. Yeah. And then there's the kind of prophecy-type dreams that we might have.
I'll add another one, lucid dreaming. I'll tell you about it later.
What's lucid?
No, you start.
Interesting. So why don't we talk about dreams that predicted the future? Now, these might just be all rubbish, but there are a number of famous dreams that people have reported that have.
But did they
predicted.
report having the dream before the action happened?
Yes.
Okay, that's very intriguing.
So Carl Jung,
Yeah.
the famous psychoanalyst, psychiatrist,
I
and
like
dream
him.
analyst, he had a number of dreams about floods covering the lands between the North Sea and the Alps, about frost and ice covering the land in the middle of summer. This was all presaging the World War I. So these were his prophecies about World War I. He had the dreams in 1913 and 1914. World War I started middle of 1914. There are quite a large number of prophecies or dreams about a big disaster that happened in a Welsh mining town called Aberfan.
I think I know that one.
Have you heard of the Aberfan landslide where a large number of children were killed?
The school was covered in it,
Yeah. So 1966, J. Arthur Taylor from Stacksteads, which is not in Wales, dreamt that he travelled to South Wales. And in his dream, he came across a town called Pontypridd, where he'd been looking to buy a book. He was in front of a large machine with the words Aberfan written in white. He stared at the word for quite some time and then turned to see cold, inhabited houses. In the same year, a few months later, a flood of coal waste exploded above the Welsh village of Aberfan, pouring first into a farmhouse where 3 people and their animals were smothered and subsequently other people were killed. And then there are other. Errol May Jones, 10-year-old, dreamt she'd gone to school to find a school covered in a black cloud. She told her mum about the dream and told her she was not afraid to die. Later on in that year, she was one of the 116 children killed in the Aberfan landslide. So she predicted it and told her mum that it was going to happen.
That's crazy.
144 people in total killed. Somebody having a precognitive dream of Robert Kennedy's death. Kathleen Middleton. Abraham Lincoln predicted his own death. He dreamt that he heard someone was dead in the White House East Room.
Wow. But didn't think it was him.
No, he asked a guard who's dead in the White House. And the guard in his dream said, an assassin has just killed the president.
Oh my God, so he knew it was him.
Yeah. On April the 11th, Abraham told Ward Hill Lamont about that dream which frustrated him, and 10 days after he was shot.
No way.
Yeah. And there's a whole load of these. So what do we think? Is this just bonkum, or is it complete
Here's the theory.
coincidence?
The thing is, we dream every single day. So when people look at The Simpsons, for example, and they say, look at The Simpsons, it has
Amazing.
expected
It's true.
so many things.
Yeah,
but if you look at the sheer volume of episodes that they have,
Yeah, you're right.
they have got to hit some nerves.
Yeah, we don't talk
somewhere
about all the things that aren't
that did
true.
not come true. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's my theory.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised by, given that I am the woo spiritual
based on
person.
what you said before,
Exactly.
I thought you would love those and want to, but I agree with you. I think there are billions of dreams a night.
Exactly.
So one of them must be predicting
Exactly.
something
I
that
think so too.
comes true.
So I don't think that, well, I don't know, who knows? Of course we don't know anything, but I don't think there will be dreams that can predict the future, but I do think that a lot of the dreams we have, not all of them, are just working on what we're feeling and thinking.
And I think if you have feelings if you have that feeling inside that something bad is going to happen, then that will manifest itself in the type of dream that you have.
Yeah.
So actually, where Carl Jung said, where Freud said everything in your dream you can explain away by the person's psyche. Well, if in your psyche you're feeling really pessimistic about the outlook for Europe, it's not surprising you're going to have a dream that foretells
saying that there's going to be a war in Europe.
I
Exactly.
can, it wouldn't be a surprise anyway.
Yeah.
If you're the president, I would be having nightmares if I was the president
About
of somebody
being
who would want to
assassinated.
shoot me.
Exactly.
At some stage in my tenure, I'd be worried about that.
I'm sure all of the presidents had that.
Yeah,
I
because
really
you
think
are-
that all of them must have dreamt that they were being shot or killed.
Yeah.
And then only one or two happened to be killed, Kennedy.
or
and
reported it.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
What about daydream? Are you a daydreamer? And then you can tell me about
Lucid dreaming.
lucid dreaming. Yeah.
So I am a daydreamer for sure, and it's getting less and less to be the case, because I used to be a daydreamer when I was younger for sure. I used to dream a lot while I was doing the dishes, because we were a big family and the dishes were they would overflow in this thing. So you would be standing there for an hour doing dishes or even longer.
So
you're
like
daydream.
into a trance-like.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes I would be singing and sometimes I'd be just dreaming, mostly working through scenarios of things that happened that I didn't handle well, that I would be extending them now. And here's the alternative ending. Here's what could have happened.
Okay. So because I'm intrigued by the concept, because I see there's a number of different variations of this. So, sometimes I can drive to work and not be aware of what's happening.
How you got there?
Am I daydreaming, or am I just in the zone so much that my brain decides to have a rest from cognitive
No,
action?
I think this is just you being on autopilot, and this is very common, that when we do something many times and we're not focused. So this is mindfulness, when we're not mindful of what we're doing and focusing on what we're doing, then our mind drifts. I don't think that's daydreaming. I think that's just autopilot taking over.
So daydreaming is where we place ourselves in a different context,
so.
a different place. So we imagine we're in a field
I
and
think
whatever
so.
whilst we're washing the dishes.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my interpretation. Did you find anything else?
No, I think that's what I think, but it just sort of confirms that I don't really daydream then.
Yeah.
I do get into a trance-like or zone-like state.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be, if you're tired or whatever, you're reading a book and you're reading the book, but you're not really reading it.
Yeah,
Nothing's
and you
going
keep
in.
reading the same line over and over again because you're
But
not really on
I don't
it.
think that's daydreaming. I think
No, I think
daydreaming
that's
is where
just you're
you're
not
able
focused.
to lift yourself away from the mundanity or the boredom of where you are and place yourself in a better place.
Exactly. I think that's what daydreaming is. And I think it's kind of an early version or a less aware version of what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
Which is
I'm
lucid
intrigued.
dreaming, because I do that as well. This is something that I've learned to do and I enjoy it immensely.
Yeah.
So it says in this website, in the last 20 years, psychologist, Dr. Stephen Leberg has become the pioneer of lucid dreaming research. Not only did he invent one of the most popular lucid dreaming techniques, but he has also led many scientific studies on the subject. So, lucid dreaming basically is that you are getting yourself into a state and you are willing yourself to dream something consciously. So daydreaming might
Okay.
be like unconscious and you're just drifting into another world, whereas daydreaming, you are kind of giving yourself a prompt and you are willing yourself to dream that while you're still wide awake. And Laverge's work has helped researchers discover therapeutic benefits of lucid dreaming. It may be useful in treating conditions like PTSD, recurring nightmares, and anxiety. Lucid dreaming usually happens spontaneously. However, it is possible to learn how to lucid dream through various methods.
Gosh.
So the way I do it is I have these guided meditations and I listen to them and I put myself in a certain situation where I'm like, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing. And it almost seems like reality. You can see yourself, you can feel yourself, but you're just there lying on your couch with your eyes closed. And it's fascinating.
Is it a dream, or is it just you using your imagination to put yourself in a...
I think it's a dream. I'll tell you why. Or this is not what the article says, but my interpretation of this is that it's a dream because you surprise yourself sometimes by what you see.
Okay.
So, like for me, I put
it's
myself...
not all just driven by logic then?
No, you start off by kind of imagining the scenario in your head.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it takes on a reality of its own, and then things start happening, and you're between dreaming and sleeping and
Sounds a little
wakefulness.
bit like a sort of self-hypnosis.
It is.
Because in hypnosis you can be brought to a stage.
Yeah.
You're now back in school as a 6-year-old.
Yes.
And in your head you are.
Yeah.
And what you say can be very revealing, but
Yeah.
because you're being completely authentically in that state.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's really interesting.
I think that's what it is.
I haven't really made the link between hypnosis, self-hypnosis, and dreams, but I can see that in many ways the process
linked.
going on,
Yeah.
It feels like it must be very similar.
Yeah. So I think it says here a small 2017 study examines this effect by looking at 33 military veterans with PTSD and recurring nightmares. Some received CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and IRT, which is imagery rehearsal therapy, while others received CBT alone. The group that received CBT with IRT experienced higher dream control, which reduced nightmare-induced stress.
Gosh.
So I think there are so many tools out there that we can, utilize to be happier, to control some of the things.
Yeah, I think I can see how that would be useful, because then, especially if it is something like PTSD, through that process of repeatedly going
through the trauma,
you can help to heal it or to reconcile it or Gosh.
So we haven't read any poetry, Tony, and it's almost time.
Okay. So there are a number of classic poems about dreams, and then there are poems about. So we've talked about dreams as in what we dream about at night, and then there are poetry about dreams of what we want to do in the future type thing. So yeah, where should we go with it? I've got two poems. Maybe we can just choose one of them.
Choose your favorite. Which one speaks to you?
Favorite. How about Edgar Allan Poe?
A dream within a dream, huh?
A dream within a dream.
I was thinking.
I like that, because a lot of the others they're a bit, I'm not going to say lame, but
airy-fairy.
Yeah.
I see. And you like
I like Edgar Allan Poe.
A creepy kind of poem.
Is it a dream? It's like we said it before. Is this a podcast or is it a dream of a podcast?
I think it's a simulation.
A simulation of a dream of a podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
A Dream Within a Dream by Edgar Allan Poe. Let's read that one.
Yeah.
Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet, if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? It's great, isn't it?
That's fantastic.
It's great.
And it's classic Edgar Allan Poe style, where it has to be dark somehow.
Dark, gothic. But some really nice images in there. I like the sand image.
I like the sand one, the golden sand one.
And,
And we all wish that we could have a tighter grip around it, but it's inevitable that we're going to let it seep through our fingers.
Yes, indeed. So that's my dream poetry. Have you got anything?
I've got a really long poem that I feel like if I read it to you, you might start dreaming and snoring.
Snoring.
But I really like it because it talks about this, what we talked about, like, is this reality or are we in a dream? You know? And so it's quite interesting. So
is this the real life? Or is this just fantasy?
Exactly.
Caught in a landslide. No escape from reality.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just no, let's not go there.
So, the dream that must be interpreted by Rumi.
Okay, good. We like Rumi.
We like Rumi. This place is a dream. Only a sleeper considers it real. Then death comes like dawn, and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief. But there's a difference with this dream. Everything cruel and unconscious done in the illusion of the present world, all that does not fade away at the death waking, it stays, and it must be interpreted. All the mean laughing, all the quick sexual wanting, those torn coats of Joseph, they change into powerful wolves that you must face. The retaliation that sometimes comes now, the swift payback hit, is just a boy's game to what the other will be. You know about circumcision here. It's full castration there. And this groggy time we live, this is what it's like. A man goes to sleep in the town where he has always lived, and he dreams he's living in another town. In the dream, he doesn't remember the town he's sleeping in, his bed in. He believes the reality of the dream town. The world is that kind of sleep. The dust of many crumbled cities settles over us like a forgetful doze. But we are older than those cities. We began as a mineral. We emerged into plant life and into the animal state, and then into being human, and always we have forgotten our former states, except in early spring when we slightly recall being green again. That's how a young person turns toward a teacher. That's how a baby leans toward the breast without knowing the secret of its desire, yet turning instinctively. Humankind is being led along an evolving course through this migration of intelligences. And though we seem to be sleeping, there is an inner wakefulness that directs the dream, and that will eventually startle us back to the truth of who we are.
Wow. Gosh, it's really good. Especially like the first half of that is like a dream itself.
Yes, exactly.
And the imagery in it is
just going in and out. And
I'm having a nightmare about the mean laughing and the quick sexual wanting and circumcision and castration going on. That's quite a...
Or the crumbled cities, the dust of many crumbled cities. Maybe it's talking about, in a way, about reincarnation, you know, like the different states that we're in, whether within one lifetime or over different lifetimes. I don't know. That's another topic for another day.
It is, yeah. Gosh. Very good and very powerful.
Yes. Can I read to you one small poem that I really like?
Yeah.
I taught this one day in grade 6, and since then I've been in love with it. It's a really tiny one, and this one is about a different kind of dream.
Yeah.
It's in terms of like hopes and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Dreams by Langston Hughes.
Have we read some Langston Hughes before?
We have. Which one was it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it?
It is so tiny, yet really powerful.
Yeah.
Is there a dream of yours, Mr. Bailey, that you have abandoned or given up?
Football for Manchester United.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that a dream of yours? You're still a very big football player, aren't you? Like, you really play with the students every now and then.
They wouldn't sign me at my age now. They're too old. I think that's a really difficult question to answer, but I think in my childhood and my teens, I dreamt of being a leader. A leader, a respected leader.
Which you have been. You were the head of a school, weren't you? Or head of a department?
I have at times.
Yeah.
But also other times I've relinquished that or stepped away from it because the stressful pressure of the anxiety of being in that position has been too much. So I think, when you talk about getting to a stage of life and reflecting on whether did you fulfill your dreams, I'm sort of, the jury's still out for me on whether I did.
Yeah.
What I kind of dreamt of doing, I didn't. But then there are other things that replaced that.
That were maybe better even. Yeah, exactly.
So, what
you
about
have
you?
a family.
What was your childhood dream, and have you accomplished it, or are you on your way?
My childhood dream was actually, I had two dreams. One was that I wanted to become a pediatrician.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, I have this thing about wanting to, heal people, care for people, so that, but then I realized I'm not that good at school, so that dream went out the window.
Yeah.
But I had another dream when I was younger as well, that I wanted to be a writer, because I loved reading so much.
Yeah.
And my dream was to become a writer myself. And every now and then I do try to write something.
So follow those dreams.
I don't know, Tony. Sometimes I feel like in pursuing the dream, you let a lot of your life go by, and you miss out on so much.
Yeah.
So I try to do it parallel, like follow my dream a little bit, but also really live on
the. I have to say, I as I do when preparing, I did look up lots of quotations about dreams, and there are lots of these inspirational quotes that you can have put on a poster about live the dream. To accomplish great things, we must not only act but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
Oh.
They're all great, but like
grand.
you say, in the reality of everyday life, you can't just throw everything else away and just pursue your dreams.
Yes, exactly.
Because on the one hand, you're not in control. If we take Stoicism,
yes,
you can't pursue your dreams. You have to react to the world around you.
React is a great word.
And secondly, it's selfish because you have some responsibility to other people who might be responsible for getting in the way of your dreams.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, we're social animals, and so we also have to
make compromises. Yeah.
My favourite quote about dreams is, the artist Isha, who did the really complicated ones with the staircases and optical illusion type pictures.
No.
Escher's pictures. Anyway, he was obviously a little bit weird and a bit screwy. He said, "I don't use drugs. My dreams are frightening enough." I thought that was really good. I have one reading, which I came upon in research for this. And I knew of the quote, the famous quote, Martin Luther King, "I have a dream." And I've heard and seen sort of videos, clips of bits of it, but I've never read the full
Never really focused
speech.
on the words, yeah.
So now I propose to read the whole speech to you. No, I'm not going to. It's nearly lunchtime. But I thought, well, I've heard I have a dream, but what was it that he was having a dream about?
Yeah.
And how does it feel now?
Yeah.
However many years it is, it's 60 years after the event. So maybe I could read that to you. I don't know if you heard this.
I've taught a few parts of it in my English classes, but it's always nice to hear it again because every time I read some of those words, I am struck by how beautiful they are.
Yeah,
and how
it's both beautiful, but also a little bit sad.
Yeah, that we're still dreaming about the same thing.
We're still having the same dream.
Yeah,
even though some progress has been made.
Yeah,
this speech could still be being made today and
Absolutely.
have just as much resonance.
Yeah.
So let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
I want to clap. I want to applaud, really, the reading and the thing.
Beautiful. And I'd never given that piece of writing the time to actually read it. And even that's just an extract. The rest of it is equally beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think the use of the phrase "I have a dream" is, the more it crops up in there, the more I feel emotional about it.
Absolutely.
And just imagine being in the crowd when he delivered that speech
and just feeling his energy and the energy of the people around you. That must have been amazing.
Must have been amazing. So, a lot of the stuff about what I dream of in the future, as a bit of a stoic, I don't really subscribe to. But that kind of aspirational
does infuse in you some optimism.
Really, and of course,
contagious.
Has to motivate you.
Yeah. Alrighty,
is that a good place to...
it's a great place to stop. And if anybody who's listening has had recurring dreams or wants to say anything about dreams, we would love to hear from you.
Yes. And if you dream about this podcast...
It's like, it's Tuesday already. Where is the podcast?
I've tried to find it on my iPad, but I can't find it anywhere. Where is it? I dropped my iPad from a large height and I wasn't able to listen to this.
To the podcast. Yeah.
That's great. Really good. And we'll do it again, shall we?
We shall. We shall. Let's see you then next week.
Yes. Get a good night's sleep tonight. Yes. Don't have nightmares.
No nightmares. Yeah. Just very sweet dreams.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
Bye.
We hope that you've enjoyed listening to the readings we chose for you today.
And that our musings have ignited your thoughts.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and those you think would enjoy it.
If you have any thoughts, suggestions, or any kind of feedback, please send us an email using the email in the show notes.
We'd love to hear from you with the words that make you.